you now?
Rajasthan, sir. Rajasthan.
अरे वो तो बहुत बड़ा जगह है, India's biggest state. Which जगह means?
Bharatpur, sir. Bharatpur. Yes.
So when do the birds arrive in Bharatpur? I don't know. It is a great bird sanctuary. तो ये भरतपुर में कब आते हैं वो लोग?
Sir, September, October to March तक migrate.
Have you ever been to those swampy areas where lots of birds come?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is this truth really? Because you wrote, my father is a street vendor. He makes snacks like matri and sells them around the city. He sometimes sells vegetables, etc. And you added your mother also helps him. Is this really true? Because we have interviewed 187 people so far. Nobody came from this kind of a background. And you are M.Tech from IIT Bombay.
Yes, sir.
That means India really is a very fair country. Anybody can, if you have merit, anybody can reach the top. I was having a wrong impression about India.
Sir, even my younger brothers and sister, my sister is MBBS and my younger brother is also studying in MBA, AIMS Guwahati. And that is only because of the government scholarship. So yes, India is fair. Anyone who has potential can reach up to the height. No,
but you are not an SC or an ST. You are, I suppose, an upper caste Hindu.
Yes, sir. We are general. Yes. Agrawal.
And when you entered IIT, etc., there was no scheme for EWS.
Yes, sir. It is totally based on the merit only. I got 402 AIR, All India Rank in GATE examination, while I was in final year. And sir, recently my younger brother got AIR 16,000 in NEET 2020. And so he got AIMS Guwahati based on the general seat only.
Did you go through any of the factories in Kota to get into IIT?
Sir, I didn't go, but my younger siblings went.
By then you were able to afford the expensive coaching scheme in Kota.
Sir, actually, I was scored around 87% in 12th class. So I was given some scholarship to study in Kota. But sir, I couldn't afford the hostel fees, etc. So I didn't go over there. But my younger siblings were there.
By then, your financial position improved.
Sir, not actually. My younger sister got a selection from AIR Coaching. So and she submitted only 10,000 for 1 year as a fees. Like the owner. Maheshwari sir gave scholarship, and then my younger brothers got a scholarship because of my sister's selection in NEET examination.
Okay, coming back to the snack called matri. I have lived in Rajasthan, but never ate this matri. Is it a sweet or is it a hot thing? I have known Bikaner bhujia and things like that, or even Rathlami save. But what is this matri?
Network problem.
Bharatpur kada. Sidhu, you have a chance on that?
I think she is back, sir.
Okay, good.
DEEPESH Kumari, are you back?
Still photo on the still.
The audio is considered.
Sorry, sir.
Okay. Oh, DEEPESH Kumari, if you are having a connectivity problem or bandwidth problem or internet problem, it's enough if you switch off the video and switch on only the audio. Then we'll be more comfortable. Are you sure we'll be able to continue this interview?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now I changed my internet.
What did you change?
Sir, the SIM, earlier it was from Vodafone and I forgot to change it to Airtel.
Okay.
अच्छा, उससे पहले क्या था? Jio? क्या था वो?
नहीं sir, Vodafone.
अच्छा, Vodafone I thought was a good one. ठीक है, maybe So you are confident Bharti Mittal and his Airtel are reasonably reliable. Okay. So my question, did you hear about what is this Matri? Is it a sweet or is it
No,
a
sir,
hot?
it is not sweet. It is like sakal para, if you have heard, or saak. It is not sweet, but it is having salt, like toast or something like that.
Toast.
What is the raw material? Is it besan or something else?
Sir, maida.
Oh, not a very healthy one. Okay, anyway, I don't want to interfere with your father's profession. Now I'll hand you over to the former Chief Secretary of Telangana State, Dr. M.G. Gopal. He'll ask you a few questions. Gopal Garu.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, Ms. Deepesh, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening, good evening. Now, please tell me the difference between the National Capital Territory of Delhi and the National Capital Region.
Sir, National Capital Region is a planning concept, NCR. It was initiated to decongest the Delhi because the population explosion was there, and to make the infrastructure more available in the adjacent area. And sir, NCT is a constitutional concept. According to Constitution, National Capital of Territory is a union territory and capital of India. So
yeah, if it is capital and the NCR is a planning body, is the jurisdiction geographically for both the same?
Sir, it is different. NCR includes the region of Uttar Pradesh, then Bharatpur and Alwar from Rajasthan are also there.
Okay. Now, how did, if at all, how did Bharatpur get benefit from the declaration of this larger Delhi, including some neighboring states and Bharatpur? How did it get benefit?
Sir, the infrastructure, basically in connectivity, like roads have come up in Bharatpur. It was already there, but right now the maintenance and things are getting better. And other infrastructure like engineering college, then medical college also come up in Bharatpur. And sir, in future we are trying to attract the investment from Delhi side.
Oh, okay. So how is your state doing if you want to attract investment? How is your state doing in the matter of ease of doing business?
Sir, the rank is not very good. It is around 24. But recently there are various policies like startup policy is there, then land reforms have taken up, and then labor reforms, and digitization is also increased in Rajasthan, and portals like Jan Suchna portal, through which the suo motu declaration of information to citizenry, etc. initiative are taken up.
Okay. Now, as a matter of good governance measure, has the interface between the citizen like you of the state and the governmental machinery for getting services from the government, has the physical interface reduced and digital interface increased?
Yes, sir. In some sector it is true, and in some sectors, sir, the outsourcing, I would say, if I'm using the correct word, is have taken up. Like earlier, we used to go to government department for every service, but right now, e-Mitra have come up. So we can go to e-Mitra. They are like common service centers in area, and by paying minimum charges, we can get the government services at very.
Okay. But what are the services? What are the services that you can get online even without going to e-Mitra services?
Sir, overall, I have applied for a passport while I was in M.Tech, so it was totally online.
Okay.
I only went for police verification.
Okay, good. Now tell me these new formulas that have been approved by the parliament and they have become acts, now they are under suspension because of Supreme Court's orders. Okay. What is the response of Rajasthan Legislative Assembly to these formulas?
Sir, initially Rajasthan State Assembly has passed law by saying that, it passed resolution by saying that we don't allow the implementation of these three farm laws in Rajasthan. That is.
No, but will that resolution be constitutionally right?
Sir, actually, the Supreme Court has to decide on this matter whether the state can pass a resolution against the union law. But I would, in my opinion, I would say that just passing an opinion on resolution or act is the right of a state. It will not nullify the laws, but it will only give an opinion of the state.
But don't you think that the laws have been passed under the concurrent list of the Constitution, and therefore the state governments also have a right to pass laws on the same subjects? Is it right or wrong?
Sir, it is true, but the if any overlapping is there, then the union law will be considered supreme.
Okay, very good, very good. Now, recently, the governor of Rajasthan released his own biography in the Raj Bhavan, where the Speaker of the Lok Sabha and the Chief Minister of Rajasthan were present. And there was some controversy about it, which has come in the newspapers, and the governor asked for an inquiry. What is that controversy about his biography?
Sir, it is about, I'm not very sure, but it is about that some books were sold free to universities without his permission, etc.
Books were sold free.
Books were given free, even without.
Given free?
Yes, sir.
Then what is the controversy? If books are given free, what is the problem?
Means, sir, it was not published yet, I would say. Before that, it was given to universities, some universities.
No, it's okay. We'll discuss about it. All right. Now, tell me, what is the mechanism now available to the banks to recover monies from the defaulters?
Sir, they can go to insolvency and bankruptcy code through NCLT, one. And second, sir, one, the Sarfazi Act, Security and Asset.
Yeah.
Yes, that act.
That is outdated. You are right. Insolvency bankruptcy code, they can go to court, but the court is not a court, which is the body which finally declares.
Sir, NCLT, National Company Law Tribunal is there. Then if not, then NCLT. Yeah,
after NCLT, why NCLT?
Sir, if the people are not satisfied with NCLT, then they can appeal in NCLT.
Okay. Now consider that there are individuals who are defaulters and who are companies who are defaulters. Now, who can go to NCLT?
Sir, for NCLT, companies are there, and for individual, some recovery. Yes. I'm forgetting that name, sir.
Okay, Debt Recovery Tribunal, DRT.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
okay, all right. Okay. Now, there are always complaints about phone tapping in Rajasthan by earlier some MLA and some deputy CM, and recently some MLAs. They started complaining about phone tapping. Now, what is the power of the government to tap the phones of private citizens or any other VVIPs or VIPs?
Sir, through various acts, there are power like Telegraph Act, then Information Technology Act, section, I don't remember, but yes, Information Technology Act. There is provision if for national integrity and security, friendly relation and other things, government can tap the phone.
Okay. So do you think that this Pegasus controversy, which is being discussed in the parliament, is also about the tapping of phones by the central government?
Sir, according to Israel firm, it is clearly said that the Pegasus software is sold only to government or law enforcement agencies. So on that way, we can say that central government is involved in that. But sir, according to that statement, it is from central government, it is said that it is lawful. No unlawful activity was done. But in my personal opinion, after seeing that generalist, activist, social activist, the position are there on the list, so some check and balance should be there on central government, on whom it should be used.
So you think that the list of names whose phones were supposed to have been tapped, including the present IT minister, is it a genuine, or does it give any suspicion? Because why should the government tap their own, MPs' phones?
Yes, sir. Means the reports which is coming is its authenticity can be in a scanner. So we have to wait and watch. Like Israel also have given the investigation, then central government will also come up with some sort of investigation. So then we will be
All
able
right,
to
all right.
comment.
Now, is hacking different from phone tapping?
Sir, yes, sir. Phone tapping means hacking means all the data related to phone means audio, video, messages, email, everything can be checked through hacking. But in tapping, only the voice conversation or sometimes message can be intercepted. Sir, I'm not very sure.
No, it's okay. I'm also not very sure. All right. About Pegasus spyware. All right. Now, tell me the achievement made by Rajasthan government in the sustainable development goals.
Sir, one is that our GNI means state per capita income has increased to 1,10,000, around 1,10,000. This is a good and even going near to national average. And second is that we have progressed on health indicators like infant mortality rate, which is around 50 per 1,000. Then the maternal mortality rate, we are also progressing on that. And the various chronic diseases like tuberculosis, etc., have come down in the state. Then on economic front, also we have done very well in production of renewable energy, then production of oil and petroleum, then mining sector.
Okay. Good. Do you know anything about net metering? Net metering. What
Yes,
is net
sir.
metering?
Sir, it is in renewable energy, solar energy sector. Through that, the consumer can give the excess renewable production back to discoms.
Okay. Now, the government of India brought in a legislation for establishing real estate regulatory authorities. Okay, where was the need for bringing in this legislation about 5 years back and establishing the real estate regulatory authorities?
Sir, the need was that there were many cases of deceitment by the builders to the consumers. Like there were many cases where project announcement was done, even the land was not taken, and the sorry sir, the person or consumer have given money, but they have not allotted the flat, etc. So to regulate this irregularity in construction sector, real estate, RERA has come up.
Okay. So what is the actual mechanism put in place to ensure that as consumer, whatever you pay to the builder is used for the project?
Sir, one I remember is about escrow account, where the fund, the money which is taken from the consumer will go to that account, escrow account, and it will be used only for that project. Some limited, some percentage is there. I'm not very sure.
It's okay.
And
percentage is not relevant. You are right. In escrow account, it has to be used. But who will ensure that the money that is available in escrow account is used only for the project in question?
sir, I can guess that that is RERA, Real Estate Regulatory Authority, but I'm not sure, sir.
No, but the real estate regulatory authority doesn't operate the bank accounts, doesn't pass the checks.
Sir,
So there will
I'm
be
not
a
sure.
direction given to the bank where the account is operated, that certain safeguards will have to be ensured to be put in place to see that the amount is used for the said purpose. Okay. Now, do you know something about viability gap funding? Yeah, I think network problem.
Please answer.
Yes, sir.
Deepesh
Sir,
Agarwal.
it is, am I? Yes, sir.
Did you hear my question? VGF?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, what is
Yes,
that?
sir. Sir, it is to make the project financial viable. Like sometimes the project is economical viable, means it has a prospect in economics, but not financially viable. Means let us say some road has to come up in far-flung area.
Okay, all right, all right, all right, all right. Now, before I close and pass on to my co-panelist, tell me what are the challenges that the bureaucracy, civil servants face these days?
Sir, one is huge workload, I would say. I have not seen, but I have heard that as a district magistrate, we have to cater to 24 departments around. So it is a huge workload. And second is
Do you mean to say that the alternative jobs like private sector jobs have less workload and cushy jobs in terms of number of hours of work?
So they have a defined target in private job, means some work will be given. If you have completed, then all time is free.
And if you are not completed, you lose the job also.
Yes, sir, that is instability is there. But yes, I also worked for 1 year, but time was there for
all right. Okay, carry on. Tell me about bureaucracy, civil services.
Yes, sir. And the second challenge would be to second challenge is to adapt to a new place. Means as a district magistrate or things, we get transfers very frequently. So adapting at very fast pace would be difficult for a bureaucrat, I would say. And sir, the others are like corruption, political meddling. These are also the challenges.
What do you mean by political meddling?
Sir, some political vested interests which are sometimes in divergent to the public services can also be imposed on civil servant and can be pressurized to follow it.
But is the civil servant obliged to be pressurized and follow the politician?
Sir, most of the civil servants don't, but it depends on the person values.
What is the protection given to a civil servant under the constitution against removal, dismissal of service or reducing in rank, for no valid reasons?
Sir, according to Article 311,
okay,
civil servant.
Thank you, Vivek.
Hello.
Good evening, sir.
Very good evening. Very good evening, guys. To pick up from thread from the initial conversation initiated by the chairman, I find that this your father.
Yes, sir.
During this pandemic, there was a certain scheme announced by the government. Now that you are a civil service aspirant and having read vastly about a number of programs, schemes, and initiatives of the government, what did you advise your father to do in the context of the business affected by pandemic?
Sir, first, I would advise my father to have some alternatives also. Like in pandemic, it was that only the vegetable selling was allowed. It was the snacks were not allowed. So my father was having difficulty in that because he was not very apt how to buy the vegetables from the mandi, etc. So some sort of that. And second, sir, I would say that some use of technology should be there in financial transactions. Right now, phones are available. UPI is very easy to use. So he should use so that the instant transfer of money can be there. Means that thing. And other, I would say, in the wake of pandemic, my father has to work on hygiene also, like using the gloves, mask, then having dustbin, etc.
That's okay. That is as far as COVID protocol is concerned. I am talking about the financial side of the business, because business would certainly come down. And uh, have you given him some kind of a information or advice as to how to take advantage of the government initiatives to support particularly street vendors?
So my father has taken advantage of this PM Swanidhi scheme where the money of 10,000 is given for restarting.
What is the
business.
procedure involved in taking loan?
Sir, my father was a license holder, the FSSI license holder for street vending, and so he went to.
Who issued this license?
Sir, it is from the signature is from SDM side. SDM. Yes, sir. And he went to eMitra, and with that he applied. And later on, I also checked the update on the PM Swanidhi portal that whether the fund is disbursed or not.
How much he got?
So 10,000, sir.
10,000. Now, what is sought to be achieved through this PM Swanidhi, apart from giving money to facilitate, doing business and all that? So, what could be the higher objective, if at all there is any objective? Is it merely to, see that someone passes through this crisis and then everything will be back to normal, or is there any, from the country's economic point of view, economy's point of view? Is there any higher goal or higher objective?
Yes, sir. Second is to promote the digital transactions because incentives are given on every digital transaction. And the second is to to uh, to inculcate a habit of saving and having financial transactions because till now my father has never gone to bank for himself only. For us, he went. So that way, it is inculcating the habit. So making economy more vibrant, I would say.
What is the act which actually regulates this activity? Is there any act, or is it just a government ad hoc policy or some kind of a temporary initiative to tide over the problem of COVID?
Sir, particularly for street vending, are you asking?
Yes.
Yes, sir. There is Act Public, yes, sir, Street Vending Act 2014.
Okay, good. And during the pandemic, quite a lot of people also moved from one place to another place of destination, place of origin, and all that. So now, what initiatives were taken by the government to alleviate their suffering during this process of migration of labor? Are you aware of any of those government initiatives?
Sir, one is implementation of One Nation, One Ration Card scheme so that migrant worker can achieve the food security in the area. And second was to make a portal migratory means to get the database how many migrants are there and what are the skills along them so that employment can be provided in future. And sir, some temporary arrangements like buses or the trains, Mazdoor trains, Shramik trains were operated.
Now you are a technocrat, and India is now teeming with IITians, engineers, and so on. And it is not possible that everyone will get into IAS or aspire to get into IAS like you, right? But then they are brilliant, and they are also capable of innovating and also capable of setting up some kind of an enterprise on their own, right? This is what we call the startup ecosystem in our country. Now, how this startup ecosystem has been doing, and has there been any evaluation or at least some, interim results have they come out? And what is if there are if there is some kind of an midterm evaluation of this scheme? What are the areas to be addressed?
Around evaluation parts, India has done well because third largest ecosystem of startup is there after US, China. And second, the unicorns like Paytm, Zomato has come up. And third, that economic survey also talks about that whenever a startup come in service sector or likewise, then economy of that district also increases. But sir, about the improvement, where we need to improve, I would say first is to provide the easy funding to startups. Like these are the biggest startup who have got the funding from foreign investors and the big investors, but there are small startup also who are not able to sustain this financial thing. So easy loaning should be provided. And second, sir, we should start this innovative or entrepreneurship mindset at school level only, or and also in state level colleges. IIT's students are only 5% and 95% are studying in state colleges. So for them also, the support from the government as well as industry should be provided.
Now, in this context, some amendments have been made to the Companies Act to facilitate setting up, enterprises. Are you aware of the amendment, and what is the facility that is given to, such enthusiastic technocrats?
Sir, are you talking about one-person company? One-person company?
Yeah.
Yes,
What is
sir.
it?
This
What
time,
is one-person company?
sir, any one individual person can also register a company and can start a startup. It is basically to promote startup culture.
Okay. Now, why was it really necessary to make an amendment and call it one-person company? How is it different from, say, from any of the existing models of floating a company? And what is the advantage, if at all there is any advantage?
Sir, sorry, sir, but I'm not sure about the existing model. But I can guess that advantage would be any single person who have an innovative idea and financial sustainability can register a company. He or she doesn't have to collect the people who have similar idea and then float a company. So it is
By,
a ease of
by its very name, it is one person can float. But what kind of a advantage or immunity from liabilities? Are you aware of the overall structure of one-person company? Or at least
sir.
have you heard of what is a private limited company?
Sir, means I know about private limited company, but what is the structure about
Yeah, what is the meaning of a
employees?
limited actually there? Why we call it limited? Limited in what sense?
Sir,
That's
sorry,
okay.
sir, I have
That's
to
okay.
read it.
That's okay. But I'm sure you know what is a proprietary concern, what is a partnership concern, right?
Sir, that also I need to check, sir.
Okay, right.
Yes, sir.
Now tell me, quite a lot of progressive legislations are being made in India to make women feel equal to men. You know, um, and off and on, quite a lot of court judgments are also being delivered, to protect the rights of women and also to ensure that they are equal to men. Okay, in this context, have you heard of what is called co-parsimony?
Sir, co-parsimony means that it is an inheritance concept where the property can also means women are also given equal inheritance right in father's property.
But suppose your father has earned, entirely during his lifetime and by the sweat of his brow, is co-parsimony applicable?
Sir, is if my father is alive and he has property, then is co-parsimony is available.
I'm saying is there is a distinction. I'm saying whatever he has earned by way of property, be it a piece of land, a house, or whatever, entirely through his own, effort, and nothing he has inherited. Will it still be? Will you still have that co-parcenary right?
Sir,
Or
co-parcenary is a
is he free to, distribute the property as he likes among the
Sir,
siblings?
co-parcenary is only related to inherited property. If my father inherits property from his father, then I am a co-parcenary.
Good, good. Now, my last question from my side would be: you were mess secretary in IIT Bombay. How did you plan food for all the boarders and to ensure that there is minimum wastage? And what did you do with the wastage, which is very likely,
Sir,
despite your meticulous planning?
Sir, one, to diversify the menu so that the food is for all. What we did, we floated a Google form on every Saturday evening, and we tried to take feedback from the resident. And then Sunday evening, we try to finalize the menu based on the recommendation given by the resident. We also took help from the earlier menu, means the predecessors of us also, and we also took the suggestions from the mess worker and contractor, like what are the seasonal foods coming right now, so that we can change the menu accordingly. And sir, it is true that waste was there after having meticulous planning. Sir, what we did, IIT Bombay runs an NGO, a Buddha NGO, and through which we distribute the food, clothes, and even education to the slum person. So we connect with that. And the second was that we allowed our mess worker. It was 80 female worker who were operating the mess. We allowed them to take food to their home also in night, so that
Good, good. Fantastic, Deepesh. That was really interesting talking with you. My co-panelist will continue this conversation with you.
Miss DEEPESH Kumari,
good evening, sir.
good evening. You are from Rajasthan. Tell us what exactly the GI tag. You heard this concept?
Yes, sir.
So tell us the two foodstuffs which are covered under this GI tag.
Sir,
From
one
Rajasthan.
is sir from Rajasthan.
Yes.
Sir, food stuff from Rajasthan. Sir, I'm not food stuff particularly. I'm not sure, but in textile, kota duria, etc.
Okay, okay. So there is MJSA. You heard that?
MJ.
MJSA. Mukhyamantri Jal Swabhiman
Yes.
Abhiyan.
Yes, sir. Yes.
So what exactly this project?
Sir, it is to like in Western Rajasthan, the water scarcity is there. Only
Okay.
15 centimeter rainfall in a year. So to make that sustainable by having water harvesting structures like Johar, that Tanka, that are traditional structures. So to make them revival and rejuvenate, this Jal Swablamban Abhiyan was started.
So where is it started?
Sir, it is in complete Rajasthan, but to revive the traditional structure, particularly in Western Rajasthan.
Okay.
Jodhpur, Jaisalmer.
Yeah. So it's a large number of people, they got migrated from the Pakistan to India. And now they are the citizens of neither India nor the Pakistan. Now, what is the state of these people in Rajasthan now?
Sir, I have heard that some people in Jodhpur are residing who are not even people of India and Pakistan. But according to this CAAF, Citizenship Amendment Act, some citizenship have been granted to people right now.
No, why there is a controversy in this respect?
Sir, one is that some mistrust was there that it is to exclude the Muslim community from the act because only the 5 community from 3 areas are included in that, and Muslim were not. So that is one controversy. And sir, the basis of this controversy was our constitution only, which says that the citizenship cannot be discriminated based on the religion part. So,
Deepesh, in your state, I think we heard that the petrol rates, first time we heard that it touched more than 100 rupees like that. Now, in this respect, what we observed is that the crude petrol is available at a lower price, because in other states, that means adjacent to India, the prices of the petrol or the diesel is low, but in India it is very, very high. Now tell us, what is the reason we are having such a high price? And is it justifiable when, especially in a situation like a pandemic, to have such higher prices?
sir, one reason is the Texas Central Excise Duty and State VAT. This is like around 33 rupees per liter on petrol is levied by central, and some percentages by state. So that is very huge. And second reason is that international prices are also increased after OPEC decided to cut the production. And sir, is it justified? I would say for economy, right now it is not justified in my opinion, because the demand has already come down, and the market means the investors are not very confident in investing in the Indian market because of the low demand by consumer side. So to revive that demand, we need to cut down the prices of petrol and diesel, at least for some time.
Okay. Now, recently the central government has passed these 4 labor codes. Did you hear that?
Yes, sir.
4 labor codes. What are these 4 labor codes, and why the trade unions are not happy with the amendment to this labor codes?
Sir, to increase the ease of doing business in India, we tried to consolidate around 100 labor laws into a 4 labor codes. These are Social Security Code, Industrial Relation Code, etc. And sir, Occupational Health, etc. And sir, why trade unions are opposing? Because in this, sir, it is perceived that some labor rights are diluted. Means the working hour can be increased. And like earlier only 8 hours or something like that was allowed, but right now it can be extended for making business profitable. And sir, in Industrial Relationship Act or Relationship Code, some also perceive that trade unions' right have diluted about right to strike, etc. So this way, sir, they are protesting.
Okay. Now, what happens is that there's some journalists were arrested recently, and the papers like Dainik Bhaskar, so they were also raided. So, in this context, what is your view? Whether our press is free in India?
Sir, according to Press Freedom Index, our rank is 142. So it is very low for a democracy. But sir, we also should understand that for national security and integrity, we also need to clamp down on the factors which are trying to polarize the society. But before using these methods, the state or center should consider that it should not clamp down the freedom of speech. So find balance between national security and the freedom of speech and expression should be there.
So recently, I think you heard about Stan Swamy issue. So what exactly this issue?
Sir, the issue was about the Elgar case, Elgar Parishad case, Bhima Koregaon case, where it was alleged that Stan Swamy is associated with a banned organization, and he was also working with the Naxalite people also. So he was convicted under UAPA Act by NIA. And So recent controversy was that he was a elderly person and was not given the SIPR, and that based means his condition deteriorated in jail and then denied bail also. So
He was not convicted. He was,
sorry,
he
sir,
was,
he was alleged. Yes, sir.
no, he was still yet
No,
to
no.
face the trial. He was
Yes,
just a
yes.
remand prisoner. There was no trial, no judges looked into his case.
Sorry, sir. My word was not proper, but I meant same. Sorry, sir.
So some of the people got the bail, but some are not given bail. So is it justifiable? Deepesh, what is your view?
Sir, according to Unlawful Activity Act, it is the judges take the prima facie view of the investigating agency. Means if it is prima facie case is there, then the bail can be denied to the accused.
Hmm.
But sir, particular to Stan Swamy case, I would say that some more humanistic approach should be taken by the court, even NIA also, according to his physical and condition.
Deepesh, I think you are into teaching. You like teaching?
Sir, I am not a professional teacher, but
Ah.
yes, I teach my siblings as well as my other fellow friends.
Okay. Okay. I think in Bharatpur, the literacy rate is very, very high because it is at central Delhi. Okay. So now tell us, in Bharatpur, you got that Joyful Saturdays syllabus in the classes?
Yep. Sir, we were having syllabus of Rajasthan board.
Okay. So there is one Joyful Saturdays. Have you heard this concept?
Joyful Saturdays. Yes,
Yes.
sir. Sir, I have not about particularly Joyful Saturday, but yes, in our school on Saturday, some quiz session, debate session, and the painting and writing competition were there.
So they are there. Okay, nice. I think you're into Ghumar dance.
Yes, sir.
So it has become very famous with the Padmavat movie. Yeah. Now tell us, this is a bill dance actually. This is a tribal dance, but this has been practiced by the Rajasthani ladies across the country. I think in other states also this dance is very famous. Now tell us about the origin and the development of this dance, and why you are interested for this.
Sir, origin is from the Bhil tribe only, and they to please the mother goddess at events like crop harvesting, childbirth, marriage, etc. were performing this.
So
And
who is that goddess?
the Saraswati.
Saraswati, yes. Okay, go ahead.
And later it was adopted by Rajputana class. And there were some difference between Bhil dance and Rajputana dance. And now it is widely prevalent. And sir, it is... Yes.
Yeah, is there any difference between the Gujarati and the Rajasthani dances?
Sir, similarities are there, but yes, differences are also there. Like in Gujarati dance, Garba is there for this. And in Ghumar dance, more twills is taken. And the second, the Rajasthani dance are more related to water scarcity. Like if we listen the Ghumar music also, it is about water and the desert.
So why you are interested particularly in Ghumar?
Sir, it came naturally to me. Means in my family, everyone used to perform on the festivals and the functions, especially Gangors, etc. So,
Okay.
and I got interested in it because it is very simple to do. Means it is a folk dance, so no particular rigid rules, etc. So anyone can perform it. And the second, sir, no special music or special costumes are required for it. It can be performed in any costumes, and so that is it.
Okay, it's very nice talking to you, Deepesh Kumari. Over to Srikanth.
Deepesh Kumari, good evening. Hello.
Yes, sir. Good
Can you
evening,
hear?
sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now you have done an M.Tech in civil engineering from IIT Bombay. Now, normally after a B.Tech, most people get placed in a good company or they will go abroad. Now, what is the reason why you pursued M.Tech? Because M.Tech is perceived as not having any great advantage in the corporate sector also.
Sir, there are two reasons. First, that I didn't get a very good placement in my final year. It was in IT sector, but I wanted to work in civil sector only. So that way, I didn't got. And second, sir, I wanted to go IIT right from my 12th class only. So once I got a very good rank in GATE examination, I decided to pursue it.
Yeah, very good. Now, tell me, your subject was mathematics. And obviously, I think you like math very well. However, if you look at the subject, there is a huge shortage of teachers in math. And also, for quite some time, India is known as a reservoir of or students who are good at math. But somehow we seem to be losing out, and there is shortage on one side. On the other side, also, our prowess in maths is deteriorating. What are the reasons, and how do you think math can be made more exciting as a subject for students to take up?
Sir, at higher level, the reason behind the deteriorating progress in mathematics is that we have B.Tech courses, but they are not particularly in mathematics. And after that, if any student want to do research or pursue career in mathematics, he or she go out for abroad and then pursue higher study. So in India, the ecosystem for mathematics research is not very well accepted in employment as well as in society. And so at foundational level, like when we are in school, the math is considered as a subject very tough because it needs foundation or basics very strong. If any person miss on any foundation, then he or she is not able to cope up in further classes. So it becomes tough for grasping the mathematics. And sir, about that, how can we make mathematics more interesting is one that we have to change the way of teaching. Mathematics needs some imaginations, how the things are summing up, how things are subtracting. So for that, some pictorial, some video, or some physical interpretation need to be there in the school level only. And the second, sir, the companies should be promoted to recruit mathematicians, which are very helpful in data analysis as well. So,
okay. Do you think the excess focus on engineering education has also impacted?
yes, sir, that is true. But right now the trend is changing. Right now the focus is on medical education, not on engineering.
But when some of the top industrialists and experts say that 70% of engineers who come out of the colleges are not even employable. Why is this situation prevailing?
Sir, one is that the curriculum has not updated much. In state colleges, still we are reading the subjects which were very old. Means in civil engineering, we are still reading about the chain surveying method. And right now, the theodolite technology has come up. So the curriculum has not updated. And the second is that the support from industry is also lacking in state colleges. Means the internship opportunity etc. are not there, and the research funding from industry is also lacking. So that
No, is the industry doing enough, or should they be more involved in academic interactions, building syllabi and all that?
sir, they should be more involved because industrial are complaining that skills are not as per the demand of industry. So they should give suggestions, as well as they should also give internship opportunity to students and fund the project. Ultimately, it will help the industrialist only, because they will get a more skilled workforce.
Okay. Deepesh Kumari, you mentioned that you like to hold conversations with strangers. So what do you gain out of these? For example, for journalists or researchers, perhaps it could be a good way of gathering information and all that. But for a typical woman, interaction with strangers could be risky in our society. And also for a person who wants to become a IAS officer, what do you gain by this kind of a conversation? Isn't it wasting time? And also risk.
Sir, it started with that I was not having phone or internet till my college second year. So whatever the information I get, it is from the people only. So I started to talk with the strangers, new people, so that I get information about what is happening and how society runs. And sir, it is very helpful for me, because one, that I get to know about the different culture, different geographical region. Let us say if I'm traveling in train and I got encounter a person from West Bengal, so I get to know about the culture of that West Bengal. And second is, I also get to know about the diverse views of the people. Means I may have some prejudice or perception about something, but after talking to people from that area, from that background, I correct myself. So that way it is helpful. Yes, sir, it is true that it is sometimes risky. And for that, sir, I am getting learnings from my every experience, that one, I should not open up at first instance. I should only talk about the general things. Don't disclose my private things to people. And the second is, don't believe the people at face only. Whatever they are saying, just verify it and then only act on it.
And do you intend to continue this practice in your, to become a IAS officer? And also, are you learning any self-defense arts?
If time permits, then I will like to pursue this. And second, that about self-defense, I don't learn any self-defense practice, but yes, I got to know that conversation should be done only at public places where safety is there. Means it should not be at a place where my safety can be breached.
Information gathered from the public, is it more important, or information you get from sources of government, from institutions for decision making? What will determine decision making more? What will weigh more?
The authenticity from the government data will take more prominence. But yes, sir, the inputs from the people, the public, will also give me insights that how the policy of government is really working on the ground. So
okay, very nice talking to you.
Okay, Deepesh Kumari ji, we took a long time. Actual interview will be much shorter. So here we conclude the mock interview and give you a feedback. Is it okay for you?
yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Good. So I'll start with my feedback, then the other panel members will give, at the end of which I'll again give you an opportunity to seek clarifications or ask questions. So when you hear the feedback from others, don't be in a hurry to ask questions or seek clarifications. Most of the doubts will be cleared by the time the feedback is over. on the whole, you are very balanced, well informed. And is this the first time you're going for the interview?
Yes, sir. It is my first attempt at UPSC itself, sir.
Oh, very first attempt, you have already reached. My God, you are indeed God's chosen child. I find no reason why you should not get into the IAS straight away after this interview. So, by and large, you're good, you're balanced, you're calm, your rate of flow of words is good. And I'm not able to find any areas where you need to work on. So I'll now hand over to the other members of the panel. Perhaps they can advise you on your somewhat weak areas. Okay? Gopal Garu?
Yes, sir. Yeah. So, Ms. DEEPESH Kumari, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I totally agree with the chairman. For a first timer, you have done exceedingly well. You also, to the questions that I raised, you opened up with very good answers with a lot of content in it. And where you didn't know, you said you didn't know, that's fine. Only one suggestion is you were answering with more humility than required. You can be little more assertive. You not aggressive, but you can be little more. Okay, you understand what I'm saying?
Sir, can you please explain by example, sir?
No, you are speaking as if you are committing some mistake, apologetic in answering. You can very confidently, respond to the questions because your information is good, and you are not committing mistakes. Where you are not sure, you are saying, sorry, I don't know. So therefore, your confidence levels should show up. Not that, you are just answering, as a humble person. Humility is all right, but you can, cross little bit of limit and then be more confident. It's a positive suggestion that I'm trying to give you, not a negative one. Okay, then about governor's biography being distributed, if you don't know, it's okay. But having asked, I should say that, governor being what he is, whatever happens in Raj Bhavan, he has to take the responsibility. So the vice chancellor, 27 vice chancellors were invited, and each of them, in their cars, some set of books were dumped. And bill was also given to the vice chancellor's staff, saying you send that money for these books. Unasked for, they marketed, Raj Bhavan marketed those books with the vice. That has become controversial. That is the only thing. Otherwise, you be what you are, there's nothing wrong. Be a little bit more confident. Okay? All right. All the best.
Deepesh, I don't have many things to point out by way of deficiencies or scope for improvement. I must say you are a fantastic material given the kind of background you come from. I have nothing but just admiration for you. I haven't really seen, in all this, in this entire season, someone with your kind of, so economic background. Forget about the social background, but economic background, with the brilliant academic record, with all the, honors that you have earned for yourself, and then in your very first attempt, the kind of, knowledge base that you have built up. I think I can really see, the kind of effort that you have put in to come up to this level. So therefore, I have nothing but only admiration for you. Well, of course, after all, nobody can know anything under the or everything under the sun. When it came to the issue of what is meant by OPC, what is its structure, public limited, private limited, and all that. These are all some minor issues. But then the fact remains that your knowledge base is so wide. You are up to date on almost every issue. I have also been hearing, you answer others, other panel members' questions. uh, I mean, there is practically nothing, that except that, in terms of presenting your answer, instead of sounding little diffident, you can be more emphatic and with a fair degree of emphasis, you can speak. And then that's all I think. There is no stopping you, Deepesh, I see. and perhaps when you make it, it would be in the interest of the UPSC in terms of its transparency in the manner in which they conduct the interviews, and also uh, as a nation we should be really proud of you, because given the kind of background, very rarely we come across this. Only when I was a member in the service commission, we came across, we were recruiting lots of engineers. At that time, I came across, children coming from tea stall vendors, roadside, pushcart, children of pushcart parents, etc. But this is for the first time, I am coming across someone up to interview level with this kind of background. I'm really, at a loss of words to, admire you for the grit, the determination that you have shown in perhaps, reaching the goal that you have set for yourself. All the best to you. God bless.
Ms. Deepesh Kumari,
Yes.
I completely agree with Vivek sir. So we really got a lot of admiration towards you, because the economic conditions are against you, but you fought and you proved yourself that you are worthy, and anybody with that type of determination can also come up in life. I think nobody can stop you to enter into civil services. Though you started your effort very late, but you are sure in the first attempt itself, we are very much convinced that you are going to enter into civil services, that to IAS. So you deserve for that. I think maths is your forte, and you are going to get very good marks, and you are going to enter into the IAS. That's what we wish. People like you should come into the service, because a person with that type of empathy and compassion towards the weaker sections, that is very much important. We found that you got all humility with you, you got that type of knowledge base, and you got the concern. So I think these are very good marks. As far as this performance is concerned, what we expect is that you show, as Vivek Gopal sir said, you show that type of confidence levels are very much required. And you, of course, you are having a smile, but because of the background, we are unable to see you, your facial expressions, etc. But of course, you got that type of, I think. But you had some enthusiasm in answering. In certain areas, I think you can afford to go for that. A few bits of information here and there about the GI tag on food stuff. So I specifically mentioned, chosen because father is from that thing. So you may be having that type of knowledge. So I tested there. That is a that's called Bicanary Buzia.
Yes.
Yeah, and Ituria sweets. So these are the two stuffs. We got that GS tag. Okay, so that's one aspect. And coming to the 4 labor codes, why the labor unions are not in favor of these things. So one is about the limit of the laborers. That means 100 up. Earlier 100 laborers. If it is to be closed beyond that, then they have to take the permission of the government. But now the number is increased to 300. And again, there's the call for the strike earlier was only 14 days, but now it is increased to 60 days. So these are the 2 areas where the people are not happy. Coming to the joyful Saturdays, I think that's because you are nearer to Delhi and you are from Bharatpur area. So this is one of the good initiatives taken by the Rajasthan government. Of course, there are a lot of things. So it's not mere quiz competitions, etc. There's a lot is there. Please read about this joyful Saturdays. I think, except that.
I think Rajasthan government calls it bagless Saturdays or something.
Yeah, that is
bagless.
Without bags. That's the way it's called. Otherwise, your answers are very apt, very balanced, and we are very impressive. Deepesh Kumari, I think maybe a month you will be in IAS. Wish you all the best.
Let me ask Deepesh, out of curiosity, How many years of preparation have you done for this exam? I think you must have
Sir,
started quite early because you finished your BE in 2016 and
yes,
we
sir.
are in 2021. So when did you
Sir,
actually start your preparation?
Sir, in 2016, I got admission to IIT Bombay. So I prepared for, I did M.Tech for 2 years till 2018. And from there, I got campus placement. So I worked for 1 year in a company. And in 2019, July, I left my job and then started. So it is 2 years right now. Yes, sir.
Good, good, good. I think that is going to pay off for sure. I think that was a good strategy on your part, and you are going to strike it. You are going to strike the goal for sure.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, Somshekar garu.
Deepesh Kumari. No, I think I agree with my co-panelists. I was quite impressed by your awareness and reasoning in the answers you gave. You are quite versatile in terms of subjects also, plus quite down to earth in your approach. You are quite empathetic to people, public opinion, and gathering information, how to approach. I think you are equipped yourself, as they say, right on the field. So you have gathered the skills which I'm sure will stand you in good stead. But one thing, which you should do is perhaps you should increase the pace of your response by the confidence you have. So the tone, I think, should be a bit of confidence, because you already know most of the subject knowledge, what you have also disclosed in your lab. And also your honest responses are quite good. You said why when you did not get a placement, good placement, you did M.Tech, and why M.Tech is popular or not popular. So I wish you all the best and hope to see you in IAS. All the best.
Okay, Deepesh Kumari, you have heard the feedback from all of us, at the end of which, is there anything that you want to ask us?
Sir, one question I don't know whether it is relevant here is about my sari wearing dress. Sir, the border is of silver color. Is it allowed in interview or not, sir?
Yeah, everything is allowed. You can wear any dress you want. If you are comfortable with it, that is important, When is the actual date of interview?
Sir, 9th September.
Okay, so when you walk into that room, you should not trip and fall. Are you used to wearing sari more or less often,
Sir,
every week?
Sir, I am practicing now.
Bahut acha, bahut acha. What I suggest is every week, once or twice, you wear it. And at least be in that sari for about 3-4 hours. क्योंकि जब आप जाते हैं to Dolpur house, सुबह जाते हैं और whenever is the time of the interview, उससे 3-4 घंटे पहले ही जानते हैं. So you should get used to being in a sari for fairly longish periods, and also practice walking so that you don't trip and fall. ठीक है? Anything else you want to ask?
Second, about medical examination. My hemoglobin level is low, below 7. So is it a problematic or I should?
नहीं, कुछ भी नहीं है. फिर भी आप you have about a month's time. Would you like to take some hemoglobin supplements, iron supplement tablets, or some of the green vegetables, palak, they all have plenty of iron. So either you can take iron supplements, or uske alawa, do you eat these palak and things like that, green?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. These things I do.
But anyway, it doesn't matter. What is your vision? Aapka aankh, what is the power? You are short-sighted. So
Sir,
kitna power?
1.75, sir.
That's okay. You will be able to comfortably. You are allowed to read with glasses. No point. It is minus 1.75 or both the eyes.
Yes, sir. around.
Not at all a problem. You will be able to improve. Anything else you want to? This hemoglobin thing, the more iron you have, more hemoglobin you have, the more energetic you will be. Somehow you are not energetic enough. I didn't want to discourage you. Obviously, you have to change your diet. So, thoda bahut, you can search on the YouTube which food has a little more iron than the normal food. By certainly, you can take for about 10-15 days some iron supplement. Tablets, goliya milte hain. So you have them. Otherwise, there is nothing, nobody can stop you. Anything else you want to ask?
Sir, fine, but sir, that question regarding the petrol prices rising up. So, sir, is it good to take side against the government?
नहीं, मैं बताता हूँ. In fact, the best way of answering any controversial question, whether it is the high cost of petrol and diesel prices, especially in Rajasthan, or the Central Vista project, or the 3 farm laws, or the Pegasus thing, which is actually hacking only. The Pegasus NSO, they are not confining themselves to overhearing conversations, etc. And of course, they are mostly worried about dissidents in their own party. Every prime minister and every chief minister is not afraid of opposition. So they don't have MLAs or MPs. They are afraid of a coup, C-O-U-P, coup d'etat, by their own cabinet colleagues, especially people like Rajnath Singh, who has a big stature. He was a very strong leader in UP. So like that. So they keep snooping. And this man, the present IT minister, was initially in the IAS for some time. Then he was in the private sector. And he was incidentally not the original nominee for Rajya Sabha from BJP. He was nominated, not nominee, I'm sorry, candidate. He won, of course, the election, the Rajya Sabha election, but he was Biju Janata Dal's candidate. So maybe they really wanted to know whether he's loyal to Biju Janata Dal or the BJP, things like that. These are very common. People who do not know what is the actual government, how politicians are, you are under the impression. Every chief minister is interested in knowing what his wife is talking, what his son is doing, etc. If he collects money without his permission, he'll ask for accounts. So everything is regulated. Corruption or immorality or purchasing the opposition MLAs into your party, these are all done. But anyway, you don't have to give such an answer. But in all these controversial matters, your answer should be, sir, there are 2 views on this. And then you present both the views. For example, in the case of the diesel and petrol prices, there is nothing to write down. Just don't bother it. You know everything. You are what we call in Sanskrit, ek santagrahi. The moment you hear, you'll remember. Without good memory, you would not have come this far. So just bas. The Rajasthan and government of India have their own perspectives. What are the perspectives? The government of India's revenue has shrunk considerably because of the COVID for the last year and a half or maybe 2 years. Therefore, they have to raise every extra paisa they are capable of. So they have been consistently increasing the percentage of excise duty, which entirely goes to the government of India. Similarly, the state governments, they are also, if the price is high, then as a percentage, supposing it is 25% of the price, the value added tax or sales tax, the state government is benefited by that. If they bring these items under GST, then they lose that control and that extra income. Therefore, nobody wants to lose that extra income. Government of India says there should be consensus, let the states come with proposals. The states, they say, let the government of India reduce the excise duties. So it is a case of passing the buck. So you have to say that there are some people who feel that the common man is being overburdened. and therefore it should be reduced. There are some others, especially pro-government people, who believe this is justifiable because the government has no other resources. As it is, they are borrowing very heavily, public debt. I hope you know what is a public debt and things like that. They're borrowing very heavily. Almost 8 trillion rupees is the debt they're planning to borrow in this financial year. Therefore, and the deficit is about 12 trillion rupees, 12 lakh crores. How to meet that gap is a big question. So you can present this view as well as that view. And only when they ask you specifically, what is your personal view, then it doesn't matter really. You can either support the common man point of view that he is being overburdened, or you can support the government point of view that what to do. We have to run the government, we have to spend, and therefore we need this extra money. So that is how, when you present both the views as an impartial observer, there is no danger of your being labeled as either pro-government or anti-government. Have you understood the implications of a balanced view of presenting both sides?
Yes, sir. I understand.
सब चीजों में, in fact, that central vista also, there are some people who oppose that. They say, अगर नया parliament बनाना है तो just keep quiet after completing that naya parliament. Why do you want to demolish everything on the 2-kilometer stretch and 30,000 trees which are 90 years old? So like that, there are two views. And farm laws also, which have been stayed. There is a farmer's view, that view especially of the Punjab and Haryana walas, and the government view. ये सब दोनों views present करें तो कोई खतरा नहीं है. Anything else you want to ask?
Sir. Yes,
Okay then, all the best. God bless you.
Thank
See
you,
you in
sir.
Mussoorie.
Thank you,
Labasna.
sir.